Do you believe Bibi Netanyahu will pull the trigger on Iran?
I certainly do, and I believe he should. All the tragedy in Hamas, all that's going on with Hezbollah is traceable to the source, and that's Iran. And so this is the moment, and this is the situation in which Israel has to strike, and strike hard at Iran.
What do you make of the move by Emmanuel Macron to withhold weapons?
Well, I think he's responding probably to domestic pressure in France, but it's a certainly misguided effort. If he wants to make a difference, he should endeavor to have religious leaders in France call together Khamenei, bring Khamenei to Jerusalem, have the Pope there, tell Khamenei to renounce his claims, his efforts to destroy Israel and kill all its people. If you go to the source, that's the way you deal with this. And Iran is the source, and Khamenei is the key person.
Vice President Harris actually posted last night on X saying that the United States would give $157 million in additional aid to Lebanese residents, or refugees rather, that are fleeing the bombing of Beirut by Israel. Is that a wise move? And what do you think about the timing of the administration giving that sum of money right now?
I think it's okay for the United States to try to look at what happens afterwards and try to relieve the humanitarian suffering. But remember that the United States is fully behind Israel. We're going to defend Israel. We've had a long-standing alliance with Israel. Nothing's going to happen to Israel. But Bibi Netanyahu has to have the courage to go to the source, and this is his time.
And of course, he has remained defiant and resilient in the face of a lot of criticism from the UN and other world leaders. I'm thinking about October 7th, and that some have used this as an opportunity to protest. They are allowed to peacefully protest in this country. It's within the law. But so many times we've seen those demonstrations turn violent, not just in the United States, but all around the world. And rather than cries for peace or cries against the war, we're hearing cries and shouts of intifada. What should the governmental response be to some of what a lot of people are calling the right to free speech?
Well, I think the United States needs to be very active in preventing Iranian agitators in the United States from stirring these things up. We know these were planned. We know they've been funded in Europe, and probably money's come to the United States. But, you know, people have a right to demonstrate as long as it's not violent. That's fine. That's the American way. But I think the important thing here is to keep in mind and continue to educate the public that this is war. Israel was at peace. Hamas attacked. It's no different than when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor or when Germany invaded Poland. It's a war. And in war, unfortunately, civilians get killed. And for all the tragedy, the people in Gaza were part of this organization, just as those in South Lebanon who are allied with Hezbollah are at risk, and that's why they're leaving.
One more question for you. There have been some who say that if Israel were to strike, particularly Iran's oil, that this would spark World War III. Give us your perspective, considering all of the years you have as an experienced commander within NATO.
Well, I don't think a strike on their oil is going to spark World War III. I don't think World War III is in the offing right now, but I do say this. Iran is on the verge of having nuclear weapons. Maybe it has them now. When it has those, everything's different. This regime in Iran, it has to go. Now, it can change its tune. If it says, okay, it'll live with its neighbors, fine. If it continues to insist that its whole effort is directed at the destruction of a neighboring state in the 21st century, that's not permitted. So this is a moment for Israel to assert itself, to strike back, and to gain dominance in the region over Iran.
And a lot of people are watching exactly what will happen next, the next move by Israel, especially as we approach, again, that anniversary of October 7th tomorrow. Retired General Clark, thank you very much for being with us. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.